Here is a question that splits Australia almost perfectly down the middle. You can lodge your tax return for free using myTax, the ATO's online portal, or you can pay a registered tax agent a fee. myTax is free and fast. An agent costs money, so the free option must be the smart one, right? Not so fast. The agent's fee is tax deductible, and a good agent often finds deductions you would never have claimed. Today we run the numbers on both, head to head, and tell you exactly which one gets you more money back. Let's talk stakes, because this is not a trivial decision. According to The Conversation citing ATO data, about 64% of Australia's roughly 15 million individual taxpayers, around 9.6 million people, lodged through a tax agent in 2020-21, even though myTax is free and typically pays refunds within 2 weeks. That makes Australia one of the highest tax agent-using countries in the OECD. Why? Because the cost of getting it wrong is real. eTax reports that different studies suggest self-prepared returns can leave taxpayers paying up to $1,000 more tax over time than those using a qualified accountant purely from missed deductions. On the flip side, a basic agent fee of $120 to $220 per Tax Falcon's 2026 figures is money out the door. So the question isn't free versus paid. It's which path leaves more in your pocket after everything. Here's the at-a-glance picture. On the left, myTax. It's free. The ATO pre-fills your income, and refunds typically land within 2 weeks, according to money.com.au. On the right, a tax agent. You pay a fee, $120 to $220 for a basic return per Tax Falcon's 2026 rates, but that fee is 100% tax deductible next year. The agent hunts for deductions you didn't know existed, and Tax Falcon notes you also get audit protection and a 6-month lodgement extension. Free versus paid is the headline, but the bullets already hint that the paid option earns its keep in ways the sticker price hides. Let's go deeper on each. Start with myTax. This is the ATO's free self-service portal inside MyGov, available around the clock. It suits people with genuinely simple tax affairs, a single salaried job, no share portfolio, no rental property, and deductions you can clearly back up with receipts. The Conversation reports myTax handled about 36% of returns in 2020 to 21. The big wins are obvious. It costs nothing. The ATO pre-fills your income statements and bank interest, and money.com.au notes refunds usually arrive within 2 weeks. The catch is in the design. myTax is built to collect tax, not to maximise your refund. It won't suggest industry-specific deductions or nuanced work-from-home claims. As H&R Block puts it, you are fully responsible for the accuracy of the return. myTax's killer feature is simple. It's free. And for a simple return, that free price is unbeatable. If you earn a single PAYG salary with maybe a few small work expenses you already know about, there is genuinely no refund waiting to be unlocked by an agent. Tax Falcon's 2026 fee table starts at $120 to $220 for a basic return. So for the cleanest cases, you'd be paying for nothing. myTax is also available 24/7 with no appointment. And the ATO pre-fill means the income side of your return, the part most likely to trigger a mismatch, is largely done for you. For the right person, that combination of free, fast and accurate on income is exactly what they need. Now the real weakness, because myTax never prompts you, the silent cost is missed deductions. eTax reports that different studies show self-prepared returns can leave people paying up to $1,000 more tax over time than those using a qualified accountant. And it's not just lost refund, it's risk. H&R Block explicitly warns that lodging via myTax without guidance can lead to mistakes, missed deductions, and possibly penalties if the return is filled out incorrectly. If the ATO later adjusts an overclaim, you pay the extra tax, plus possible interest, plus potential administrative penalties. There's also the time cost. Doing your own research and data entry can swallow 3 to 4 hours each year. Free in dollars doesn't always mean free in outcome. Now the tax agent. This option suits anyone whose affairs are even slightly more involved. Work-related expenses, a home office, professional memberships, courses, shares, or industry-specific deductions. where myTax stays silent, an agent applies professional judgment to find deductions clients didn't know existed. Money.com.au states that using a registered tax agent will often ensure you receive the maximum refund possible because they prepare the most comprehensive return. You're also buying protection. Tax Falcon notes that part of the fee covers audit protection and a 6-month lodgement extension, which lowers your compliance risk. One important check: make sure your agent is registered with the Tax Practitioners Board, which guarantees minimum competence and compliance standards. Here's the part most people miss, and it's the agent's strongest card. The fee isn't really the fee. Tax Falcon explains that tax agent fees are 100% tax deductible in the following year. Depending on your marginal rate, you effectively get back 16 to 45% of what you paid. So take our example, taxpayer Sarah, a Sydney marketing manager on $95,000 at a 34.5% marginal rate. She pays $200 for a standard online agent service. Next year, that $200 deduction saves her $69 in tax, dropping the real cost to just $131. Now layer in the deductions the agent finds. Sarah's agent uncovered $800 of legitimate extra claims, worth $276 at her rate. Suddenly, she's $145 ahead versus myTax every single year after the fee. The agent isn't perfect, and honesty matters here. First, you pay up front and only recoup the deductibility benefit a year later, so there's a cash flow lag. Second, fees scale. Tax Falcon's 2026 ranges run $180 to $350 for a standard return with work from home claims, and $350 to $600 plus for complex returns with shares or crypto. Third, and this is the crucial honesty, if your return is genuinely simple, a single salary with no real deductions, an agent has little to find. You'd be paying for time savings and peace of mind, not a bigger refund. The agent earns its fee through complexity and missed deductions. With neither, the maths flips back toward free myTax. Let's score this round by round. Upfront cost. myTax wins outright at 0 versus $120 to $600 plus for an agent per Tax Falcon. Refund maximisation. The agent takes it. Money.com.au says a registered agent often secures the maximum refund, while myTax leaves you to find everything yourself. Refund speed is a tie. Both typically pay within 2 weeks per money.com.au. Effective net cost still favours myTax at 0, though Tax Falcon's deductibility point narrows the gap, leaving the agent's real cost at just 55 to 84% of sticker. 2 rounds to myTax, 1 to the agent, 1 tie. But notice the agent's win is on the criterion that actually drives your bottom line. Now the softer but very real criteria. Audit protection. The agent wins, since Tax Falcon notes it's bundled into the fee along with a 6-month deadline extension. myTax offers none. Error and penalty risk. The agent, again, because H&R Block warns DIY myTax, carries mistake, missed deduction, and penalty risk, while a professional's whole business model is compliance and audit protection. Time cost. The agent, once more, Sarah's DIY process ran 3 to 4 hours of research and data entry versus under an hour with an agent who handles the record keeping. Across these 3 rounds, the agent sweeps. So the full scorecard is tightening fast in the agent's favour. Tally it up. myTax won the 2 pure cost rounds and tied on speed. The tax agent won refund maximisation, audit protection, penalty risk, and time saved. 4 rounds covering the things that affect your actual outcome. So on a pure count, the agent takes more rounds. But the honest truth is that myTax's wins are decisive for one specific person, and the agent's wins are decisive for everyone else. The deciding factor isn't the count, it's you, which brings us to the single number that settles it. Here's the one number that decides it for most people: the agent's effective net fee. On a $200 fee at a 34.5% marginal rate, Tax Falcon's deductibility maths makes the real cost just $131. So the test is brutally simple. If a tax agent can find more extra refund than their net fee, more than about $130 in this example, they win. Full stop. And eTax is finding that DIY lodgers can pay up to $1,000 more tax over time, tells you that bar is easy to clear for anyone with real deductions. For Sarah, the agent found $800 of extra claims worth $276, more than double the net fee. The moment your deductions exceed your net fee, the free option costs you money. So who wins? Honestly, it depends, but the rule is clear. If your tax life is genuinely simple, one PAYG salary, no investments, and only a handful of small deductions you already know about, use myTax. It's free, fast, and an agent has nothing meaningful to add. But the moment you have real work-related expenses, a home office, professional memberships, courses, shares, crypto, or a rental property, a tax agent almost certainly wins. The rule is this: if the extra deductions an agent can find exceed their net fee, around $131 in our worked example, pay the agent. For Sarah on $95,000, that gap was $145 a year in her favour, which eTax-style modelling stretches to roughly $5,000 to $8,000 over a 31-year career. Add audit protection and the hours saved, and for most working Australians with anything to claim, the agent is the smarter call. Let's make it personal. Choose myTax. If you have a single job, no investments, and deductions you can fully substantiate and already understand. Your affairs are simple, and an agent can't beat free. Choose a tax agent if you have work-related expenses, a home office, education costs, professional memberships, shares, crypto, or a rental property. Anywhere professional judgment uncovers claims you'd miss. Still unsure? Run the test. Complete your return in myTax to get the estimate, then take the same records to a registered agent for a parallel review before lodging. Compare their refund against their net fee, around $131 on a $200 bill. If they beat it, pay them. And whichever way you lean, confirm any agent is registered with the Tax Practitioners Board. The bottom line, myTax is free. But free can quietly cost you $1,000 a year if you've got deductions you're not claiming. A tax agent isn't an expense so much as a deductible investment that often pays for itself, as long as your tax life is complex enough to make it worth it. Run the net fee test, match yourself to the right column, and never pick on habit alone. If this helped you see the real numbers, subscribe to The Fine Print. We read the fine print so your refund doesn't suffer for it. This is general information only, not financial advice.